Ever daydreamed about a job where you clock in and your office is, well, a cruise ship? Sunsets, cocktails, maybe a bit of shuffleboard.
Yeah, sign me up, right?
Right. Sounds pretty dreamy. Well, today's deep dive, we're pulling back the curtain on a career that promises just that ship steward. And we got the inside scoop from the career experts over at RoleCatcher. Trust me, there's way more to it than just like fluffing pillows and unpacking suitcases.
Oh, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that more to it bit. I mean, yeah, the travel perks are definitely a huge part of the appeal, but the reality of life as a ship steward, that's something RoleCatcher really gets into, and it's fascinating.
Okay, so full disclosure. They give us a ton of info to work with for this deep dive. Career guides, interview tips, you name it, basically. But one thing that really jumped out, and it's kind of the theme of their whole approach, is this idea of the job being more than meets the eye. What did you make of that?
It's all about expectation versus reality. Everyone's got that picture in their head, right? Those glamorous cruise brochures, sparkling blue water, everyone's smiling.
Sipping tiny umbrellas.
Exactly.
Yep.
But then RoleCatcher hits you with the stacks like, get this, 70%, a whopping 70% of ship stewards are working over 60 hours a week.
Seriously, no way.
No, seriously. They're dealing with everything. Seasick passengers, lost luggage, you name it. And all while somehow maintaining this like unflappable, calm demeanor.
Wow, 70% working 60-hour weeks. I guess what happens on the high seas stays on the high seas applies to the workload too. But okay, even with the long hours, I can see the appeal, especially for someone who, craves a little adventure, maybe thrives in those kind of fast-paced, unpredictable environments.
Oh, for sure.
What I find super interesting is how RoleCatcher breaks down the career path. Like, it's not just one job title.
Right, right. It's not like you're just a ship steward and that's it. There's actual progression from entry level all the way up to lead steward. They lay it all out.
Okay, so let's break that down. Starting at entry level, are you essentially just like learning the ropes, getting familiar with the ship's layout,
Yeah.
assisting with basic passenger requests?
Yeah, pretty much. Think of it as like ship steward boot camp, mastering the basics before you, get thrown to the Lido deck wolves.
Huh. I love that. Lido Beck Wolves. So you're building that foundation, customer service, time management, teamwork.
Teamwork, huge one. On a ship, it's all about the crew. You're not in it alone, that's for sure.
Okay, so you've like aced ship steward boot camp. Right?
Yeah.
You're basically a pro at navigating those notoriously narrow hallways. What's the next step on the career ladder?
So that's where you step into the junior level role, and it's a whole different ballgame. At this point, you're not just, following orders, memorizing the daily schedule. You're starting to make decisions. You're handling more complex situations. And RoleCatcher's example profiles, they really highlight that shift in responsibility, which I thought was really interesting.
So it's less about like perfectly reciting the breakfast menu and more about thinking on your feet, dealing with whatever comes your way.
Precisely. I mean, think about it. You're the eyes and ears of the ship at this point, right? You're interacting with passengers, and not just like a handful of them. You're dealing with people from all walks of life, all with their own, quirks and demands and
Luggage mishaps.
Exactly. And you might be handling like a special request for a birthday cake 1 minute, and then the next you're resolving a cabin conflict. Who knows?
Okay, so you're like a cruise ship concierge/diplomat. I like it.
There you go. And those interpersonal skills that you hopefully honed at the entry level,
Right.
they are absolutely crucial now.
Yeah, it sounds like a crash course in diplomacy and conflict resolution, all while, cruising to the Bahamas or wherever.
Exactly.
And I imagine those skills, they only get more refined, more well-honed as you advance to that senior level, right?
Absolutely. At the senior level, you're not just managing yourself. You're overseeing entire operations. You're training new staff, making sure everything's running smoothly, no towel animals left unturned. And remember that statistic about 70% of ship stewards working like crazy long hours?
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's Guide, it emphasizes that this is especially true at that senior level where, the buck kind of stops with you. You're responsible for upholding those safety protocols, maintaining that, that overall positive passenger experience.
Right, because if one person throws up, it could all go downhill from there.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So it's like you're the captain of, what would it be? Captain of passenger happiness.
That's a good one.
But with a lot more napkin folding, probably.
Right. And speaking of navigating, potentially tricky situations, Let's talk about those skills RoleCatcher highlights because, I mean, some of them, they seem pretty standard, right? Customer service, teamwork, that incredible stamina we talked about.
Right.
But then there are those less obvious ones, the ones you might not immediately associate with this job, like a deep understanding of safety regulations.
Okay.
And even, get this, a touch of psychology.
Okay, now safety regulations, I get that. You're on a ship. Things can happen. You need to know how to, handle an emergency. But psychology, is this about like decoding secret passenger signals to get bigger tips? What's the deal with that?
Think of it more like, I don't know, reading the room, but on a grander scale. You're dealing with people in a very, very specific environment.
Right, very confined.
Confined, exactly. They're often far from their comfort zones,
Right.
And then you add in a little, seasickness.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
A missed port excursion, maybe they lost at bingo, who knows, and suddenly emotions are running high. So knowing how to de-escalate a situation, offer reassurance, just, lend an empathetic ear, that's where those psychology skills, they really come into play.
So you're not just a ship steward, you're a counselor,
Uh-huh.
a mediator, what's that word?
A master of calming those
Choppy interpersonal waters.
There you go. I like that. And it's that complexity, I think, that makes this whole career path so fascinating to unpack. But let's be real for a second. Getting your foot in the door in this industry, especially these days, it can be really daunting. And that's where I think RoleCatcher, they actually offer a really, really helpful lifeline, AI-powered tools.
Okay, AI to the rescue. Tell me more. What kind of tools were we talking about?
This is not, your grandma's job hunting website.
Right.
RoleCatcher has actually developed some pretty cutting-edge AI that can analyze like job descriptions, but with this incredible precision that, a human it would take forever. We're talking algorithms that pinpoint the exact keywords, the skills that those cruise lines they're looking for, but they don't always spell out,
So instead of spending hours and hours like agonizing over your resume, wondering if you're highlighting the right experience, using the right, action verbs, this AI basically just swoops in and does the dirty work for you.
Pretty much. It's like having like a personal brand manager for your resume.
I love it.
And it gets even better. They have, get this, AI-powered interview practice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
AI interview practice. Okay, that's next level. I kind of wish they had that back when, back in my day. Would have saved me a lot of awkward bathroom mirror pep talks.
Gotta love a good bathroom mirror pep talk. But yeah, this is way better. It's all about being prepared, for those make break moments. And the great thing about RoleCatcher's AI is it doesn't just throw generic advice at you.
Right.
It's tailored feedback based on like your specific responses, your delivery, even get this, your body language.
Really? They can pick up on body language through a webcam. That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. But it makes sense, right? Because even over video, how you present yourself, it makes a difference.
Oh, for sure. First impressions and all that. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, you've aced the interview, right? Thanks to your trusty AI coach. What else is RoleCatcher recommending? Like, what are those must-haves for actually landing that dream job on the high seas?
Well, they really, really emphasize certifications.
Okay.
And specifically, this one called STCW Basic Safety Training.
STCW Basic Safety Training. Okay, that sounds kind of intense. What's involved? Like, what exactly do you learn in STCW Basic Safety Training?
Basically, it's like your ticket to working on a ship, any ship. And for good reason. STCW, it stands for Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping, which sounds very official, and it is.
Very official.
But it covers everything, and I mean everything. Fire safety, first aid, crowd management, what to do in an emergency, if someone falls overboard.
Right, because that's a real possibility.
Exactly. You're not just, handing out towels and making sure the buffet line is stocked.
Right.
You need to be prepared for anything.
So you're basically like a safety officer, a first responder, a hospitality expert, all rolled into one.
There you go. That's a great way to put it. And that's why this certification, it's non-negotiable for any aspiring ship steward.
Makes sense. Especially considering, the environment. It's a unique one. You're responsible for people's safety, their well-being. And you're doing it all on a moving vessel in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, not your average office job. And it's something that RoleCatcher, they really hammer home. It's not just about like checking boxes, getting the certification just to have it on your resume.
Oh, okay.
Employers want to see that you get it, that you're actually passionate about safety, about passenger well-being, that it's something you genuinely care about.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about certifications. We've talked about, AI giving you that extra edge in the job search. What about networking? Does RoleCatcher have any advice on, like, connecting with people in the industry?
Oh, absolutely. They're huge proponents of networking, which honestly isn't always the most fun thing to do.
Never is fun.
No, it can be a little intimidating, but it's so important. And they specifically recommend checking out organizations like the Association of Flight Attendants, which, might seem a little odd because it's like, wait, we're talking about ships, not planes.
Right.
But they actually offer a lot of resources that are relevant to anyone working in, hospitality and travel. And then there's also the International Transport Workers Federation. They're great for industry-specific stuff, job boards, networking events. They even have mentorship programs sometimes, which I think is really cool.
Mentorship, that's huge, especially in a field like this. Okay, so, wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the demanding realities, the surprising skills you need to succeed, and of course, all the cool ways AI can help you stand out in the job market. As we start to wrap things up here, what really stands out to you as the biggest takeaway from all of this?
Beyond the practical stuff, the certifications and the AI tools and all that, it's the human element of it all that really gets me. I
Yeah.
mean, imagine the stories, right? The people you'd meet, the places you'd see. A ship steward, after a few years, they'd have some stories, that's for sure.
I bet.
All those different cultures, the challenges they've overcome, the friendships forged, while sailing across the ocean. That's the kind of stuff you don't read about in a career guide.
No, you don't. And that's what makes this whole career path, it's more than just a job, right? It's an adventure. It's about resilience. It's about connecting with people from all walks of life. So for anyone listening who's, maybe yearning for a job that's anything but ordinary, where every day brings new horizons, new experiences.
Literally.
Literally. Maybe a career as a ship steward. Maybe that's your calling.
Maybe it is.
And if you're ready to, set sail on that journey, RoleCatcher. They've got the map, the compass, the whole 9 yards to guide you.
Couldn't agree more.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring. And who knows, maybe we'll see you out there on the open ocean someday.